Alright gang, welcome back to our Can You Survive 25 challenge here on Zielonka. It is March, rain is in the forecast, and today we are going to be getting the process of putting down some sunflowers. Now, in the last episode we kind of talked about what the hell are we going to do when it comes to a yard, right? We have no idea where we're going to put a yard at. My initial thought and plan was to buy this one, as I've mentioned a number of times, but it's $803,000 for some reason that doesn't make any sense to me or anyone else. So, we've got to make a decision here. What are we going to do? We can either drill 91, which we own. Maybe we buy another field and turn that into your yard, right? I don't know. There's a lot of options here to choose from. Something that's probably less... how do I want to word it? Less likely, I guess. Maybe that's not really the way I want to word it. But anyway, I guess what we could potentially do is sell that piece of property, which is probably not the most ideal situation for most of us since we kind of restarted this series to begin with, right? And maybe move elsewhere. And the reason why I'm saying that is because all of the land around us is outrageously expensive. This one's 106. That'd be the only one that's even relatively close that we could purchase anytime soon. But maybe that is what we do. Maybe we go with that one. I don't know. What's the land look like on this one? Is it pretty flat? It looks relatively flat, actually, now that I'm seeing it. Maybe that's what we go with, because we do get a little bit of this area here. Maybe that's the one we go with. We need some more money to do so. The other option I had thought about, which we kind of talked about in the last episode, was buying one of these, because it's relatively flat, and turning this into our yard, but it is pretty far away from this piece of land, right? I don't know. I'm kind of leaning towards this one the more I think about it now that we've kind of started this episode. It's 106,000. It's a ways away, honestly, from right now. But we should, in theory, be able to make a decent amount of money off of this. Off the stuff we have to sell today, excuse me. I don't know. Regardless, I think I'm going to keep the piece of land that we do have right now for the time being. Just because I still haven't really fully made my mind up yet. But we do have to figure that out soon enough, though, right? We are going to have to figure that out soon enough. Okay, evidently I have to unfold this to actually fill it up. Okay, that's fine. Now, this only accepts seeds. It does not do fertilizer. So, we did buy that fertilizer spreader in the last episode. We are going to have to go ahead and come back up here and pick that up, along with the forklift that we purchased as well. I'm not necessarily sure I love that forklift since we can't actually switch to it, right? If I flip through, you know, all of our different stuff, it doesn't come up. We actually have to go find wherever it is and walk up to it. It's not the worst thing in the world, but it's actually a little annoying, right? But, you know, for the time being, we're going to hold on to it. Maybe later on we'll change it out. Who knows? Anyway, like I mentioned, rain's in the forecast today. We can put sunflowers in the ground. We're going to do that. That's really the main objective, the main goal here for Farm 2. I'm doing a sunflower-based farm. So we'll be doing sunflower oil, etc. Probably make sunflower seeds at some point. But we'll see as we move along, right? Right now, we're still in the early stages of it. Honestly, I probably should have, and I didn't really think about it until just now, I probably should have bought a weight for this. I guess we'll find out and see how it does. If it becomes unbearing, and what I mean by that is it's super back heavy. I can already tell you it's super back heavy. I feel it just by driving it. I know that sounds weird to say because I'm not actually in the vehicle in real life, but it just has a feel whenever something is too heavy, and it feels like that now. It feels like we are picking up the front wheels. So I'm thinking we're probably gonna have to run to the shop and buy some kind of a weight for the front of this tractor here to actually be able to do this, but we'll at least give it a shot first off and see how it goes. I guess what I could do, I just now thought about it, I guess what I could do is use this as my front weight. I'm going to try it. We're going to try it. I won't put it down in the ground, obviously, but we can try to utilize it as a counterweight and see how it goes. Seems to be helping. It's not perfect, but it does seem to be helping. we're definitely able to do this, which is a good thing, right? How's everyone doing today? Hope you're all doing well. Things are good, man. Things are good. Another day in paradise, as they like to say, right? This week I was a little behind once again. Feels like it's every week, but, you know, it is what it is, right? My real job was causing some mayhem. We had people in town that I wasn't anticipating, and they ended up sadly letting somebody go who I'd worked with for a long time. So it was a little bit of a rough week for me, unfortunately. Not really sure the reason why. Still, there must have been something that happened, but yeah, it was a bit unfortunate for sure. But I don't really make those decisions, right? So I can't really speak to any of those decisions, if you will. Why are we... Nope, please stop. Thank you. But it's somebody I had worked with for like 20 plus years, gang. I'm dating myself here, but... a bit of sticker shock, I guess, still going on, I guess is how I'll put it. So anyway, so there was that going on. We had people in town, obviously, so after that I had to, you know, do the normal stuff that you do when you got a job. You had to go, you know, schmooze after work, right? Go to dinners and things with everybody, right? So you gotta kind of do some of that sometimes. There's not really a way around it, so... So I guess what I'm trying to get at is it kind of ate into my ability to be able to do some videos at night, which was unfortunate. I really was hoping to get a lot done this week. It is what it is. Nothing you can do about it. I gotta work. Gotta have something to pay the bills, right? So anyway, we're in the process here of getting the sunflowers down. We're going to kind of start doing more of a headland approach now as we move forward here. And I don't love the steering assist here on Zielonka from what I've noticed. It really doesn't... I think I need to go in there and modify the actual spacing capacity for the different lines, because it seems to have a very weird setup, and I don't really love it. So I think a lot of the time here I'm probably just going to be doing this the old-fashioned way, which really isn't a problem for me. I'm getting used to having the steering assist, right, the GPS or whatever, but you know, I'm so used to not having that for so many years that it's not a big deal for me. Maybe if I do that, maybe it's a little bit more sufficient or a little bit more efficient. Not sufficient, efficient. But I mean, it's, you know, I'm close enough, right? It's not that big of a deal. So anyway, how's everyone doing today? Hope you're doing well, man. Hopefully you've had a good week. Good. Well, I guess it's the start of the new week now at this point. By the time this is released, I'm recording it before the the weekend, but the time it's recording, it's actually right before I'm leaving to head to poker. I know many of you know that. I say most of you probably know that. So, new session starts tonight. Excited about that. Ready to dive into it and hopefully do a little bit better this time than last time. Last time I got into the final tournament. You know, it's like a 12-week session, and then there's a final tournament, but you have to be above a certain line or have placed in the top 3 at 1 week. If you did that, if you placed in the top 3 one of the weeks, then you're automatically into the tournament. Otherwise, you have to be above a certain cut line. I've never really had, up to this point, any kind of concern about not being above the cut line, and I was plenty above the cut line, but they do pay out a certain amount of money. Overall points, right? Normally it's about the top 15 people of the session. They'll get paid out a certain amount of money, and sometimes it's a decent amount of money. I've said it before, it's about $30 every week for the entry. They take $5 of that $30 and they put it towards the final tournament. And part of that is also to pay out individuals and stuff like that. And what we do is where I play at, it's kind of it's called a moose lodge. I'm sure if you know what that is, then you'll know what I'm talking about. If you don't, then it's basically just like a social club, like a bar with and they've got, you know, bands, and they do trivia and they do karaoke, etc., things like that. But once a week they do poker, in a league. That's the only time I ever go there. I never go there any other time. I go there because I can get into a poker league and it's only $30 a week, which maybe that sounds like a lot, but it's really not. That's very inexpensive. So they take $5 from that. They also have, they make food. A lot of people go there for the food. They do make really good food. It's different every day. They do pizzas one day. They do like steak dinners. There's some good food there, and it's not outrageously expensive. It's actually reasonable, right? But to get that food, you've got to be a member, right? So anyway, we help assist on Saturdays. Saturdays they always do, well, not always, but most of the time they do pizza on Saturdays, and we always help assist that, so volunteer. And what they do is they'll take a chunk of that money, obviously for the, the moose itself, but then they do give us part of that money for our poker league. So it's, it's in our best interest to assist and volunteer whenever we can, because it only helps increase the overall pot size for what they pay us for the final tournament, right? So in other words, I guess what I'm trying to say is if after 12 weeks they will pay out. Normally it's the top 15, sometimes it's more. It really depends how much money we made from helping out volunteering with the pizza. But it's normally pretty good. Like first place overall points normally gets like, I think it's like $400 or $500, something like that. It's a pretty decent amount. And then obviously the final tournament has a decent amount of money to it as well. But that final tournament really depends on how many people played, right? Because I told you they take $5 from every person that plays. It's normally around 60 or so people every week. Maybe, well, I should say somewhere around the 50 to 60 range every week. So you factor all that in 12 weeks, that's a lot of money, right? That's a lot of money that adds up. So anyway, enough about poker. We're doing Farming Simulator, Z. We don't need to talk about poker. Something I'm excited about, so I like to talk about it every once in a while. But anyway, we are, I don't know, a little more than halfway through, I guess, planting this. And then we're going to have to go up there and get the fertilizer spreader. We're going to need to put some fertilizer in there. We're going to have to fertilize this field as well. And then I guess after that point, we'll need to go sell some stuff, potentially. Maybe we won't have enough money to buy that field, but we can go sell some stuff nonetheless. I guess kind of make our decision from there on what we're going to do, right? But we got to get this field done first and foremost, so let's get to work. All right, this field is all done. Now, we probably could put some lime down here. Maybe we should. The pH value is okay. So, yeah, we probably should put some lime down. So, let's go buy some lime. Let's do that, too. We might as well. Now, I'm going to have to unload the fertilizer over here in our neighbor's area here. We just don't really have any space for it right now. So, this is going to cost us a little bit more money. It's going to put us down a little bit lower, unfortunately. But, you know, I do think it's something we should do. Now, the lime... We're going to have to buy a lot of this. I really don't know how much lime we need. I feel like that's enough, but at the same time, it very well might not be. And I would much rather have too much than not enough. I don't want to have to go all the way back up to the shop once again here, if I can help it. So, we'll buy $3,600 worth of lime. Eventually, we'll utilize it, right? Even if we don't use it now, we will utilize it eventually. We made a little bit of extra money when 9 o'clock hit during that time lapse because, obviously, things sold. I'm considering right now, for the time being, since we've got stuff going on, I'm considering putting the pickle productions on auto silling as well. And as you can see, the pickle productions are getting pretty close once again to being maxed out. So we're going to have to start turning these hydroponic greenhouses onto selling eventually anyway, because it's getting pretty full pretty quickly, and it can't process through as fast as we're actually providing income materials to it. So yeah, you'll have to. I guess we'll have to think about it, right? I guess we'll have to consider what we're going to do there. Don't really know what we're going to do. This spreader was fantastic. It was done pretty quickly. I'm sure you noticed during the time-lapse there, I was having some further issues with the steering assist there with the planter or the seed or whatever. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. I don't know what it is. There's something about this map. It just doesn't line up as you would expect it to. Which is a bit unfortunate, but you know, it is what it is. We do have automatic application rate on. I thought we did, but I wanted to verify and make sure that was a true statement. Yeah, sandy loam, it's good. We're good. So we'll keep filling this up, and I will meet you back there, and we'll get the lime down. It should only take a few seconds to do the lime, just like it was a few seconds for us to do the fertilizer there. All right, we're back here. Let's throw some lime down here. I'll turn the steering assist on as well for this. And we're underway. Now, like I said, lime, it takes a ton of lime, right? It takes a ton of lime, but I would hope that 20,000, well, almost 20,000 liters of lime was enough for this field. I'd be very surprised if it wasn't, right? And turn that off on purpose because I know I'm going to run into issues there with that little creek, so we might as well just go this way. I know I'm wasting some right now, but it's okay. It's not a big deal, gang. I promise. We make enough money in this series at this point with our productions. We're gonna be okay. Could I, saved a little bit of money or a little bit of lime, I guess, in this instance, and stopped that or shrunk down the actual spread width? Absolutely, absolutely. But it's not that big of a deal, man. It's really not. I'm getting a nice, like a lime green there, or yellow green, whatever. As far as the actual rate, so that's going to be good, man. That's going to produce a good harvest for us, which is going to be desperately needed. Desperately needed. All right, so that is all done. I should have taken the beacon off. Whoops. But that is all done, so we can go ahead and park that there for right now. I missed a little corner there, but that's okay. Yeah, pH value perfect, nitrogen perfect. All right, so this field is good. That's going to produce a nice harvest for us. Okay, so we've got 78,846. We're really down to Farm 2 for the day. There are things here in Farm 1 we can do, and probably should do. We probably need to buy some stuff for these greenhouses, right? I still hate this right here. We might end up getting rid of this eventually, and trying to flatten the land out, because that this kind of stuff drives me crazy. I don't like the floaty effect here. I would rather it be sunk into the ground a little more than it being floating. So we might have to modify this, but I would prefer the liquid fertilizer to be gone from this building before that happens, right? So quick autosave here first and foremost, and then we're going to take a peek here, and we're going to see what else we can put down production-wise potentially for this, right? We've got a couple of these greenhouses going. I don't want to put down another greenhouse right now until we remove this one. And here comes the rain. And evidently hail's in the forecast too. Remove the rain until we remove this greenhouse, until all the liquid fertilizer is gone, and remove this greenhouse, and then try to modify the ground a little bit so we don't have a floating situation like this, because I don't want that. So we're not going to put down another greenhouse. So in my eyes, we should be looking at some other productions. Now, the 3 water pump productions we have, they're doing fine, but they still cannot keep up. There's a decent amount of water in most of these greenhouses, right? And there's a decent amount of water in the wood greenhouse as well. But it still is having a hard time keeping up. So maybe we should consider one of those other water distribution things that I was talking about, right? there are some other things that I have installed for that. I don't remember if it's under factories or if it's under tools. I really don't remember, but this one I know for a fact is under that, but the other one I was looking at, I think it's in tools. We looked at it recently. Or containers. It's one of those two. I don't remember which. It must be container. Yeah, this one. Water station, you can supply your water tanks with fresh water. So, like, I'm kind of tempted to put this one down. But I don't know. I think I need to... I mean, like, I put it right in front of the sign, evidently. That would be super annoying for them. Whoever's paying for that. You know, it's something I got to think about, I guess, still, is what I'm trying to get at, because I really don't know. I don't know. So, that's an option, but I think I'm going to wait until we are able to flatten this land out here a little bit more, and we'll kind of go from there. So, what I want to do, and I haven't really looked, to be fair, I know this can, but I haven't really looked at any other productions that I have installed. Maybe we spend a little bit of this money now. Instead of going for a yard like we talked about at the beginning, we talked about the last episode for Farm 2, maybe we try to get a production for these greenhouses, since this is maxing out pretty much at this point. So we can try to make some more money instead of just selling them outright. Not that there's a problem with doing that, but you know, I think it might be more beneficial for us to try to find something else to do with some of these. So, dessert factory. See, I don't think we're going to be able to do, like, even if we turn the strawberries on, I don't think we'd be able to do that one, though, unfortunately, because I think you would need flour and other things, and we're obviously not really going to be doing that or focusing on that, at least on this specific farm, right? So, now, we did have this a while ago, but we were utilizing it more for the root crop perspective. It does have Napa cabbage, chilies. So there is some options here, I guess, whoops. Things are glitching out on me, but there is some options here, I guess, with this one. I don't know, man. I just, none of these are really seeming like anything that I want to do. Okay, so I'm not having any luck. I even went out to ModHub to see if I could find anything, and I'm really not finding anything, at least nothing that I think is going to work for us for right now. So we've got some decisions to make here. I don't know. I haven't tried this. I don't think it's going to work. I don't think we can take out the liquid fertilizer outside of the greenhouse, right? I don't think that's possible. I understand if I was to sell this, I'm going to lose money. I get that. I'm okay with that right now. I've accepted that fate. But I don't think I can take the liquid fertilizer out of here, right? Pretty sure I can't. Yeah, you can't. That's kind of what I expected. Unfortunately. Okay, so, it seems very wasteful, even though, you know, knowing the fact that we are going to lose money off that greenhouse, to go ahead and remove it right now. So I think, given what I said earlier, we're going to have to hold on for a bit. We're not going to be able to actually sell this until that fertilizer is gone out of there. I think what we're going to do for the time being, though, is we're going to turn everything on selling here as far as the greenhouses go. So that's going to produce us a lot of money. Between now and the next episode, at least, is going to produce us a lot of money. Maybe not so much right now, because obviously there's not a ton there, because it's already been transported over to our pickle production. But I'm also going to put these all on selling as well for the time being. It's just going to be a little bit easier than me having to carry them all over there. Now, having said that, there are some out here that we are going to have to carry over there. I don't know if the price is still decent or not. My guess would be it is, because I know recently it was. But let's take a peek. Yeah, it's still pretty daggone good, honestly. So we probably should go and sell these today. They're dropping in price, so we absolutely should go and get these sold. So I think that's what we're going to do. We'll get hooked up here. By the time we're done selling all of these two, it should hit 11 o'clock, so we should get some more money then as well. I don't suspect that we're going to be able to, unfortunately, get enough money today to get us to that field purchase, right? We talked about buying that field over there right next to the one that we just put in the sunflowers, right? So I don't think we're going to be able to get that one today, unfortunately, but the other thing is that the actual price fluctuation here of this stuff, it's not outrageous. You know, we have this JCB. I want to utilize this JCB, but we're going to be doing other things with this. Don't you worry. So even though I have it on auto selling right now, it does not necessarily mean that this is a waste for this specific item. I assure you this JCB will be put to use a lot, even if we have this on auto selling for the remainder of the series, which I'm not saying we're going to. The odds are we won't, right? At some point, we're going to put it back on storing when the price is probably the lowest for at least for 2 or 3 months. Right, so that means we're going to get some of these to spawn out here anyway at a bare minimum when that happens. So I guess I better put that on. Not that there's going to be anybody around, but in case there is, should have the warning on for them to pay attention. All right, just a few more to get here. I'll get them all stacked up, and we'll go sell these. All right, these are the final two here. I didn't do the greatest job of stacking them on there. Normal. You're used to that at this point, I would suspect. Hopefully we can get these on the back here without them falling over, but, you know, it is me we're talking about here. There, we got it. No problem. No problems. All right, we'll put this away, and we can go and sell these. We got 6 minutes before 10:54. What, before 10:54? 6 minutes before 11 o'clock. It is 10:54. Like I said, it's not going to be anything crazy, but we should get some kind of extra money than what we're normally getting every hour from the trees, from the wood. So we're going to the normal sell point that we've been going to pretty much the entire series so far, which is over there at the supermarket. So we'll head there. We know that very, very well. And I'll be pretty happy if we get ourselves, by the time 11 o'clock hits and we sell this, I'll be pretty happy if we hit 100,000. I'll be pretty happy. I don't think we will, but I'll be pretty happy if we do. You know, looking at our production itself, I mean, there's stuff in there, right? There's 4,000 and 3,000 and almost another 3,000, but I'm not quite sure that's going to get us where I want us to be at or not. I mean, there's a chance. There's a chance for sure. The lettuce specifically is worth a lot, right? So we've got 3,000 and lettuce in there. It's there's a chance. I'll leave it at that. There's a chance. If we can get us to that point, by the time the next episode comes around, we 100% will have enough money to be able to buy that field next to us and then turn part of that into a yard. Now, specifically, that portion that I'm thinking of is closer towards the edge of the map there, so I'm going to be a little careful. I've had a lot of issues in the past with edges of map and glitches and getting stuck in that invisible wall, if you will. So I need to make sure that that does not happen here. Okay, evidently we missed something. This trigger here is always a little weird. It's not exactly where you would think it would be at. Alright, so I got way more than I actually thought. I actually think we have enough to buy that field. Plus, we just hit 11 o'clock too, so we did get a bunch from that as well. But we got 17847 from those specific products, which meant that we would have been just slightly under where I wanted us to be at, right? It would have been 97,000 and something. But hey, at least we got well over 100,000, and I think, like I said, I think that's enough for us to buy this field. 106, it is enough for us to buy that field. Only just, but it is enough. Now, what it is going to mean is that we're not going to be able to buy any more, liquid fertilizer or anything, but I don't think we specifically need it. It looks like we're doing okay on that front. Some of them need a little bit of water, but I still think they're okay. I mean, even though it's red, they still have 7,000 liters of water. They're not going to run through all of that by the next episode, so I think we're okay there, too. We got to bring that forklift back as well. I haven't done that yet. We need to do that over to Farm 2 because we purchased that for Farm 2. So we need to do that. All right, we'll turn that off for the time being. Let's head over here, and we need to buy this field. 106,512. So we bought that, and let's see. So there's a little bit of room here, like I said, and it's pretty flat. Maybe not down this way so much, but up here, which is where we'd want to put the yard at anyway, it's relatively flat. But as you can see, there's not a ton of room, so I think we're going to have to take away part of this field. Now, this field is a grass field. It's growing right now. We're not really going to be doing any grass work specifically for this Farm 2, but I guess we could, in essence, mow this field up for the time being and then eventually turn it into a sunflower field. Although I think what I would prefer to do, honestly, is next month turn this into that sunflower field that we're talking about. So I think what we'll do next month is we'll kind of do a heavy focus on building up the yard in this area. We're probably going to get rid of this tree. Building up the yard in this area, if it lets me get rid of that tree, I don't know. Might be too far outside the range. But anyway, building up the yard in this area, and we're going to probably take away a good chunk of this field, and then what's remaining can be, a sunflower field, right? I think that's what we're going to have to do. And then we'll have to move all this stuff over here and get everything set up and ready to go for us. But with that, we'll leave the episode there. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you smash the like, subscribe button on the case you have yet to do so. They're free to do. They help me out an absolute ton. Thank you to my members. Cannot thank you enough. There is a link down below if you're interested in that. You get early access to videos like this one, including the competitive one-tile challenge, which has been bumped up to Thursdays and Saturdays, so twice a week now versus what it used to be, which was just once a week. Won't be every single week that'll happen, but 90% of the time it should be happening. My other channel's down below, Discord's down below, everything you need. It's always mentioned. It's always down below for you. Descriptions on anything that I'm working on as well. It's always in the description there for you. So you can follow along and see what rules I'm following and playing by. Thanks for watching. Thanks for your support. We'll see you next time.